My name is Larry Gray, and I am an elder in this church. Okay, I used to pick potatoes, and we used to get paid by the bushel basket. And the next job I had was working in a concession at a state park. And then I finally turned 14 years old where I could get paid for my jobs or get paid real money. And I don't remember, I had several. And the most memorable was when I was in high school and I worked in a drugstore as a soda jerk. And that was great. It was, can't tell you that part, but it was a lot of fun. And then I joined, after high school, I joined the service, and I got to spend 19 months in Morocco.
Morocco?
Well, Morocco's in North Africa. However, it was French Morocco, and it had been inhabited by the French people, and there was a lot of French influence left in the parts of Morocco that we went to. Got out of the service, and I worked for a year because I didn't have enough money. That was before the GI Bill. I didn't have enough money to go to college, saved enough. And I went to college and I studied chemistry. And after 2 years, I ran out of money and I got married and my wife was having a kid. So I had to go out and find a real job, and I worked in a laboratory as a lab technician. And I transferred to another company that was a lot closer to home as a lab technician. And eventually I became a chemist working for that company, and they transferred me upstate New York, where I had my own laboratory. In fact, we had a whole building I shared with a microbiologist. We had our technicians, and it was a great time. And just before my 10th anniversary with that company, I decided to quit and go back to school and learn electronics because I was dabbling in electronics. I had a TV shop, actually. I spent 2 years in school there, was able to get a federal license to fix CB radios. And with that license, I made a ton of money. There were all kinds of CB radios just getting hit, and people were hooking them up backwards and blowing them up, and most people didn't know how to fix that problem. I did. The other thing was they would be blowing finals like crazy, but if you didn't have a license, you couldn't do the repair and get paid for it. They used to come to me, pay me $10, so it was a thing that I would sign off. All I did was test the radio. If it worked good, I signed the thing, and I picked up $10. Or if they couldn't fix the other one where they blew up the diode in there, I would take it and pretend it was a terrible job. Took me about 10 minutes, change the diode thing, worked just perfectly, and I'd give it back to them. But I would make them come back 2 days later. After that, my first wife and I split the blanket, and I moved to Florida, or moved back to Florida because I'd lived here when I was a kid. Moved back to Florida, found a job with J.C. Penney's, fixing televisions, driving their vans around and fixing VCRs and TVs and that kind of stuff. And then RCA bought out J.C. Penney's. Worked for RCA for a few months and decided again that it just wasn't for me. And I found a job teaching in Pinellas County schools. It just so happened they were looking for somebody who knew how to fix VCRs to teach other people how to do that. I did, and I did. And I ended up teaching electronics for them for the next 23 years. And I retired from there. And that was the last real job I had. However, I've come to this church, and I don't know how long it's been. How old are you?
I'm 22, becoming 23.
All right, so it was probably about 16, 17 years ago I came to this church. Although I had been saved, I had never been baptized. Chris Stolze was supposed to baptize me. And so one day I had lunch with Andy Mason. I told him my predicament and asked if he would baptize me. He said he would be happy to. The following Sunday, I think he was very happy to see me come down to the altar call, and I got baptized. And I've been here ever since. I served as a deacon in this church, and I'm currently serving as an elder in this church. This church is my home. I love the people in this church, and I'm just so happy that God brought me here. Amen.